This is my coach, Mr. Billson. Honored to have you here. I'm waiting for the school to get out, so I got a few minutes. And you're here for a story. Okay. Well, the state of Nebraska faced one of the largest storms it's ever seen. In fact, it looked on radar like a hurricane, and it went over 200 miles across. 200 miles across. That's a good-sized storm. Twisting and turning for most of 3 days. Out here in southwest Nebraska, all we got was a couple of inches of rain, but we had 50-mile-an-hour wind for 3 days. 50 miles an hour and some gusts up to 70 for 3 days straight. You talk about a storm-beaten machine, it was. And of course, on the north side of the state, snow, and a lot of it. And we're talking, they just hammered those poor ranchers and farmers up there. The worst loss of a single farmer was over 250 head of cattle. You bet, not counting hogs, horses, about every other livestock you could think of. There are terrible losses in the state of Nebraska on the west side of the state. On the east side, though, the problem is that the ground was froze, and they got mostly rain. But frozen ground didn't let it soak in, so it could only go one place, and that's to the rivers. I said to the rivers. And the floods you can't imagine. They were biblical floods almost, absolutely. Just some of the most terrible floods that you can imagine, tearing out bridge after bridge and shutting down just about the eastern part of the state. It was nothing short of devastating. They're talking the final bill will be around $1 billion. $1 billion in damages and losses to the state of Nebraska. And if you'd say that's just biblical and it's terrible, how can the state ever recover? Well, never forget, the state of Nebraska, and your state too, every state, gives away almost $4 billion a year to other countries. $4 billion comes out of the state of Nebraska and goes to other countries. That's right, almost $200 billion a year is given to countries too lazy to work for a living and too greedy and hoping to steal money from the taxpayers of America and the state of Nebraska. So that almost $4 billion that Nebraska gave away, wouldn't it be nice if we'd say, hey, let's keep that $4 billion this year to recover us? You bet. Let's keep that money here. And in fact, why are we giving it at all? I'd say it's long past time. And I so hope Trump would be one of the things he could do is stop foreign aid and stop loans to other governments and other nations by the mega banks, always backed by the American taxpayer.